I think I'll return to the show eventually when I have time to sit down and see if it got better or worse. So for the last few weeks, I've been going over the entirety of All Grown Up. With 5 seasons and about 10 to 13 episodes a season, I was looking for an episode to talk about. In my last review of the show, I said that All Grown Up had the ability to become a great spinoff. Since then, I have completed the series, and I really couldn't find an episode that I wanted to talk about. For one, I could talk about one of the 3 two-part episodes. Maybe the episode where Susie gets conned out of $1,000, or the episode where the cast thinks that their old toy is pissed and out to make their lives a living nightmare. I couldn't come down to a specific episode that I wanted to talk about, so like the Puka and Larry Boy episodes, I thought I'd talk about the series as a whole. So All Grown Up is a slice of life show following the well-known Rugrats as they grow up and become teenagers. Most episodes tend to have a few plot lines, almost always 2, and sometimes they even have 3 or 4. When they do have more than an A plot and a B plot, the show tends to pace their stories well and don't waste much time, if any. Each story tends to be wrapped up in a single episode with everything being resolved. The early seasons of All Grown Up had episodes with multiple plot lines that run parallel, but later on in the latter half of the show, we cut down to either 1 or 2 plot lines that tend to blend together. Like, in an episode, our cast goes to a mountain where Chucky is trying to overcome a fear of heights by rappelling down a bunch of cliffs with Tommy by his side to help encourage him. But Tommy ends up getting a crush on someone and ditches Chucky. Chucky ends up stuck at the top of the mountain and Tommy has to find a way up to him. The B plots of the episode consists of Angelica trying to get the attention of a lodge worker by going on hikes and finds a shortcut up the mountain. The 2 plots come together and Angelica helps Tommy reach the top of the cliff faster. All Grown Up also has a weird continuity. In the pilot episode, Coupe de Ville, Chucky was unable to climb a rope, and in the first 2-part episode, Interview with the Campfire, Chucky climbs a tall tree with little effort, even if he was running from an animal. In Coupe de Ville, Tommy was also capable of climbing a rope, but in Is He or Isn't He, Tommy is having trouble with climbing a rock wall. I know this is not a perfect example, but I do have another one to talk about in a minute. Before we talk about that, though, let's talk about when All Grown Up's continuity is rock solid. In episode 6, Chucky's in Love, Chucky creates an alter ego for him to get close to a girl that he has a crush on. And in 2 later episodes, the Valentine's Day episode and Project Chucky, Chucky talks about how the girl was starting to forgive him for lying, and Chucky tells Angelica that he's not willing to change his clothes in order for him to become cool because of the Chongo incident. There's also the episode where Phil introduces Lil to soccer or football for everyone outside of America. And in multiple episodes after, Lil is talking about soccer, playing with a soccer ball, or skipping school to get an autograph from a soccer player. Sometimes, however, the continuity makes no sense. In Season 4, Episode 1, RV Having Fun Yet, we see Tommy and his girlfriend Rachel parting ways, as most of the cast are on their way to New York to watch Susie sing. Now, if you haven't seen the episode Rachel, you would have no clue who this is, and would be wondering what episode she's from. Well, Rachel's official introduction is Season 4, Episode 3, where Tommy meets Rachel in Hebrew school. Now, they're together until the next official appearance of Rachel all broke up, halfway through the final season, where she breaks up with Tommy because she's moving to St. Louis. However, that's not the end, because in the last episode of the show, Tommy skips out on planes with his grandfather Lou to spend the day with his almost girlfriend Rachel.
The game is tonight? I have plans with my almost girlfriend Rachel.
Another thing about the show that I can say I'm not a big fan of is how they add supernatural elements to the show. When I say that, it isn't that they're there, it's that they feel out of place. I mean, in one episode we get Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, and ghosts. We also have 3 separate episodes that have or confirm the existence of aliens in the show. We also see Cupid in the Valentine's Day episode. Having supernatural elements isn't bad, but in All Grown Up, they really don't have a place. If this was in Rugrats, it'd all be in the kids' imaginations. Here, it's real. How do I put this? Take a look at the Curse of Reptar. In that episode, the kids find their old Reptar toy in Tommy's backyard and throw it out. After they do that, the backhoe digging up a pool gets hit by lightning and smashes a hole in Tommy's house. Then they lose power, weird green sludge seeps from their basement walls and faucets, their TV and phones go out, and Kimmy almost falls through a hole in the floor to the basement. What caused this? When the backhoe hit the house, it was knocked off its foundation, causing the rest of the problems. The supernatural elements work in this episode because there is an explanation, but the cast and audience were kept in the dark until the end of the episode. So if the rest of the series kept up this vague type of storytelling and never confirmed nor denied it, it would work better. Wow, I talked a lot longer than I thought I would. This show is a good one. In my first review of the show, I gave it a 6 out of 10, and the show stayed in that range. I would never give an episode less than a 5, but I would rarely give it a 7, and there aren't any episodes I would even consider an 8 or higher. The show really is a 6 out of 10. Not bad, but nothing spectacular. Thanks for watching. If you want to support me, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Check out my Every Review playlist, and if you want to see these reviews early, I have a Patreon. It's only $1 to see everything early.